How to remove the front seat on this F150 2011. How to remove and replace the side airbag on the front seat. And how to replace the lumbar on the back of the seat if it's broken. How to remove the upholstery and put back on. And how to reinstall the seat. And then how to install the new seat switch. That's what I'm going to show you today, but in reverse. As you can see, I have the seat removed. It's simple. 4 bolts. You can move the seat forward or backwards to get to these bolts. The front 2 came out easy. The back 2 came out a little harder because they were rusted, but they did come out. Once I got them out, I cleaned them up and lubricated them so that they went in and out easily. That removes the seat. The second thing in removing the seat is just simply unplugging this switch. I'll show you on the seat itself how that's done. It's got a lever. You pull up on it. This harness, this connector slides right out, and then you can pick the seat right up. The only other thing you have to do is take off a piece of trim and remove your seat belt. Very simple to do. A lot easier than I thought it was when I started on it. Here you see the seat and all the components off of it. Except for this right here. I slipped this on. This is the knob for the lumbar. Since I have this knob in my hand, I will show you how to take it off. There's a little clip in here that you got to pull up at a certain distance or pull it clear out. And then this knob will slide right off. Now this clip is very difficult to get to. So to put it back on, if you simply just slide it so that it clears in the inside, you should be able to slip it on, take something and just punch this clip down. That slides into a notch on this plastic part. The same way goes for the tilt handle. It works in the same way. If you try to pry your trim parts that are associated with this side, you're going to struggle to get it out, and you might break your trim pieces, so you have to be careful. I broke mine, but I found a special glue to put it back together. This is where the seat belt attaches. That just takes a T50 and that'll pop right out. I think it's a T50. Okay, let's look at the lumbar. The lumbar was broken on this, and that's why I had this on here to test it after I reinstalled. Okay, the existing lumbar that was on here looks like this. It's broken here, was broken here and here. Here's the new lumbar component that came with this section right here. To remove the cable and everything associated with that, I would have had to drill out 2 rivets and then reattach this to the side over there where that round knob is. I had no desire to do that. So I took plenty of pictures of the broken one before I took it off, and I simply fed the existing cable, the old cable, in with this to attach it to the plastic piece right here. I bought this online. It was either Amazon or eBay. I don't remember which. I think eBay, or I mean Amazon, the Amazon River. It wasn't cheap. It's an original equipment part. It was 70 bucks. But I decided I was going to put it on since I had the seat all opened up and ready to go. It just was accessible. And I wanted to to replace that. So I did. I hesitated. I wouldn't have had to, but I did. Now, if you look at that, I'm going to turn this knob, and you can see it's moving. You can see it moving in. So it's working as it should right there. That's as far as it goes. And as you can see, the old cable works just fine. Again, I'll show you where this attached on the other side. You can see the existing cable. There's a rivet here and a rivet here. I would have had to drill those out and figure out how to reattach that. And like I said, I just did not want to do that. So I just used the old cable. It works just fine. If you wanted to replace it, you'd have to feed this up through there. Comes with a couple of clips. You'd have to pay attention to where those clips go and then just simply replace it. One of the reasons I took the seat out to begin with, this was a construction truck, and this whole side right here was wore out. So I wanted to take the cushions, the padding, and all that stuff and get it upholstered the best I could. Now I had a local guy just sew me a piece in right here. It doesn't match perfectly, but for an older construction truck, that's going to be perfect. This was all worn out here, torn, and the padding wore down. He rebuilt the padding and sewed a new piece in. He did that all for the whopping price of $25. I paid him $40. It was worth it to me. And in taking this apart, I exposed the airbag. It's got a tag right here. There's an airbag right in here, and I had no idea how to handle that airbag. I didn't want it to blow up. I want to show you how you can remove that airbag along with this cover. The cover's actually just unclip all the way around with these little side clips here, front, back, side. You can pull that off. It's felt fastened here. It's got felt inside here, but then there's 3 hog rings in the front of the seat. You just got to clip them and the cover pops right off along with the cushion. It's a simple process if you want to go that far in your seat. But let's look at this airbag that had me really confused. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not, but deep down in here, and I missed it the first time, but right here we have, let me get you up just a little bit. Right here, there's a 10 millimeter and another 10 millimeter nut. And all you have to do is loosen those 2 nuts, take them off, and that whole airbag component, which is right here, will come right off, and then you can slide it out of a sleeve, a cloth sleeve, to get it away from what you need to work on. Very simple process. I didn't know how to do that. Now you know. Let's look at this seat back. This seat back also was very easy to get off. As you can see, it comes right here. This will come down and hook into this piece, zip it. All you have to do is unzip it, loosen this, pull your head piece out up here if you got the head, and you can work the fabric out around the grommets up there. And then on the front, let's go to the front one more time. The back will slip out right here. A lot easier with the bottom off. You can start working this up. It has felt pads right here and right here that holds this into place. And then there are 3 hog rings that hold this up here. Again, a very simple process to pull this whole works apart. You do have to remove all the plastic trim in that. It is much easier to do it with the seat out. I think it could be done with the seat in, but Quite frankly, for this old guy, I'm not going to do that. If I got to pull this upholstery off, I'm going to pull them 4 bolts out like I showed you up there and take the entire seat out, and then set it where I can get to it. Now let me get the plastic pieces that go right here so you can kind of see how those come off. Again, with those, you got to be extra careful because this plastic is brittle and it will break. Are there replacements? Yeah, they are. Yes, there is, but they're not that cheap. Some of them are, some of them aren't. This one little piece I needed here was like $40, and I thought, what the heck? But I went ahead and ordered it. When I get this done here, like I said earlier, this will just clip on this ring right here and be able to put it all together. Let me get them plastic components for you and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the first piece that goes on, the last piece that comes off. When I took mine apart, I broke it right here, and it broke right here. I was able to take a special glue that we're trying out in the hardware store across the street and test it on here, and it worked perfectly. That's really tight. I expect it to hold. When I was taking these little clips out, like I showed you, these little clips here, if you can see that, I pried on this and I kind of broke it. So I re-glued the back side of that, and that is really stiff now. The way this comes off is pretty simple. It has a screw right here that you remove, and then it has one in the back over here right into there. You got to get those 2 screws out, and then this should slip right out of there. And it would go on the same way. So this would go on first, like that, something like that. I would have to get this all ready to go so you can see it, something like that. And then, your seat belt goes down in here and fastens right there. Let me get my arm out of the way. It goes down through here and fastens right there. And then this piece, all it does is it clips on the top. Let me show you. It's got 2 clips here on the top. It clips in just like this. Let me get it lined up here. Clips in on the top. There we go. Just like that. And it would look like that. And then on the back where it snaps in, it's got these little metal clips. And on these pieces here, it's got these little tabs. They just snap in. Now I recommend getting a tool in there and very gently pop those loose. You have to pop those loose first. There are 3 of them. And then you can pull that out and lift it up, and it exposes everything in here. You can get to your seat belt then. And after that's off, I would recommend taking your seat tilt handle off, and that should be it. And once this piece here's on, let's put it back together. Once this piece is on like we showed, then this piece right here, of which I got a new one, you can see I busted this one all up. The tabs underneath are broken off, which go into these sections right here. And this would go in next. It clips at the top just like the other one did. There's 2 notches, and then that goes down just like that, snaps in place, and there you have it. After that, then the round knob goes right here for your lumbar. And like I said, after dropping it all on the floor, I went ahead and picked it up, and there you have it. And that's what it would look like. Now this slot right here is for your seat controller. This seat's all electric, and the way that works, it's very simple. Let me get that part around here and I will show you. Okay, before you actually snap this in, you'll want to take your new seat controller or your old one, and it snaps right into place. There's a couple little clips on this, plastic clips. You would push that right in, snap it into place. And then what you would do is work that in, and with this right here, this plug would plug right into it, and then you could snap that all into place after the fact. And once that's all snapped into place, then you have your little button controller that fits on there just like that, and then that snaps in and it's good as new. Now to take this stuff all apart, you just do it in reverse. Just be very careful when you're prying this off. And if you take this out, you can bend these little tabs a little bit and that'll pop right out. And again, this would be the first piece. Actually, this is the first one you take off, and you got to reach down in there to get that little clip and slip it out. Then this would pop off by prying here and here, which brings you to this point here. Then from this point, you would want to take this off, and you'd want to pop this loose, and then you got this to take off. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, but because I didn't know how to do it, I broke some of the pieces, but I was able to repair them all except for this one here. And I think this costs about 40 bucks, a little more on, I'm not sure where I got it, the Amazon River or the eBay. But a lot of these components are on both of those sites, and obviously you probably could buy them from your Ford dealership also. Okay, the last thing I want to show you towards the last is this switch right here. You can see this lever right here. All I had to do is pull it, and I was able to pop that right out. You would slip that in and then just flip it back again. Somehow, I'm not sure how I did that, but I did it somehow. And this flips. I think you got to pry a little bit on each side. It wasn't real easy, but I figured it out. And if I could figure it out, so can you. But that's how you plug it back in. That would be the last thing you do, because it would make sense to me that if you're messing around with this seat, with the power to it, I don't know what activates that airbag I mentioned earlier, but you sure wouldn't want that to pop out in your face. I think it would hurt. But I'll get you in here just a little closer so you can see the bottom of the seat. There's the bottom of the seat. You can see where the 4 bolts went in, like I shared. The back 2 bolts I didn't mention, but there's little caps that go over the grommet, the plastic grommet that covers the heads of the bolts. Those, I just took a little tiny flat bladed screwdriver, went in there, or pick or anything, and popped them right out. They came right up. Let me get one of them so you can see what I'm talking about. These are those little pads that covered that bolt. They just got a little clip in each side. And like I said, I just popped those up, and it exposed the head of the bolt. And then I just ran it out. I had to use a breaker bar and them back ones. Man, they were tight. But I got them cleaned up and they're ready to go. Now that's the seat. That is the seat. What I'm going to do today is go ahead and put all that stuff back together like I showed you. And I'm going to drag it up to the front and I'm going to bolt it down. I can get everything ready to go except for my seat switch because I'm waiting on that new plastic part. It should be here soon, probably in the next few days. But at least gets me to the point where I can get in the truck and back it out of here because I need to get some space freed up. When I get that ready to go in, everything on, I'll bring it back and show it to you so you can see what I've got done. If I run into any obstacles at all, trust me, I will bring you up to speed on that. But I don't anticipate any obstacles, and but I've been like that before. So let's see how this is going to work. Oh man, should I have a cup of coffee before I start on this? Yes, I think I will. Why don't you join me for a cup of coffee? Got a lot of subscribers that have been communicating with me, and I really appreciate that. Some of them, at least one in particular out in Arizona, has been really giving me some encouragement. He said I reminded him of his grandpa. That was one of the highest compliments that someone could give me. I appreciate that, Arizona. Thank you. And I'll keep doing this as long as I can. Not only for you, but for others like you. My own grandsons appreciate what I'm doing also. They think it's pretty cool that their grandpa knows how to make videos and post them on YouTube. But I gotta confess, it sure has been a challenge for me, especially with all the technology and everything that goes into it. Like right now, I notice that my tripod's crooked. Probably looks a little weird. But I'm not in this for the money. I'm in it for you. Let me get to work on this seat, but that coffee comes first. I have the seat installed. I did run into a couple of obstacles. One of them was I had my doors open too long, so my batteries were completely dead, or battery, so I had to charge that up to get the seat to move. As you can see, it moves now. Up and down, or not up and down, but forward and backwards to get to my mounting bolts. The mounting bolts went in just fine, everything hooked up. I had a little trouble with some of the trim. I found out that I had to put this piece on first. Let me get you in there so you can see what I'm talking about. When it comes to putting this trim back on, you need to get this on first. You can reach back in there and put that little clip on that I talked about, and then you can slide this up and over and then just snap it in here. And to take it off, snap here, snap here, snap there, pull it out just a little bit and up, and it should slide right out of there. This piece here, I got it mounted with the 2 bolts I talked about. I have the airbag mounted with the 2 bolts I talked about. What else? Other than that, it sits real good. The seats aren't perfect, but they're a lot better than they were for an old work truck. I think this will be just fine. I might get a carpet cleaner, one of those upholstery cleaners, and go over it yet. But the seat's back in. Everything works out good. Oh, one other thing. This seat belt has to be installed before any of the trim goes on, or you can't get to this bolt right here. I ran into that issue, so I had this all on, ended up popping it all back off to put that bolt in, at T50 bolt for the seat belt. But other than that, just as I described before, I think this seat turned out pretty good. I'll let you take a look at it. I am waiting for one piece of trim yet, but that'll just take a second to pop in. Everything's working. So in this short little video, I covered a lot of ground. I covered a lot of ground. I hope you watched to the end so you could see it all. Appreciate it if you would give me some comments on how you would do it. Pointers. I don't do this all the time, as you know, and wrestling around a 40, 50 pound seat or whatever that weighs for a guy with sore shoulders, that's a challenge. So, comment, subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Encourages me and it keeps me going. I don't get paid for any of this, as I've said in the past. That's fine. I enjoy doing it. And if it helps you, great. If it's entertaining, great there too. Can it be fixed? Sure it can. Can you fix it? You're darn right you can. Until the next one.